Hello everybody and welcome to another episode with Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe with FriendlyFox. So today's episode is called Paying Off Your Debt. Now right now of course that may seem a little bit daunting because of the fact we've only got £12,000 and we need to pay off £150,000. So the best way to pay off your loan as quickly as possible is to earn more money, and in order to do that, it's based upon your beginnings. Humble beginnings. We have two money makers. And this industry actually makes enough coal that we can run 2 trains and make twice as much profit. So what I'm going to do is, with the £11,000 that I have now, I am putting in a passing loop. Now what that will do is it will allow us to have 2 trains running on the same track and thereby earning us twice as much money. In order to clone train 1 and make a third train, we need £46,000. So I'm going to borrow another 40,000. That train is fully loaded and has left. This one will start once the pathway is clear. So now we have 3 trains. This train only makes a minuscule profit since it doesn't travel very far. So the only reason I'm still sticking on to it is because it is a money maker. No matter how small, it all adds up in the end. So this train, and now this one. Anyway, I think you generally get the idea. So we're going to speed things up a bit. Now we can start paying back the loan, which we borrowed initially. Just going to change the colour scheme to dark blue. But as you can see with this grain train here, despite the fact that it's a very short route and doesn't make very much money, it loads up very quickly, which helps in making money. That's what you want to focus on, when you're starting your company from scratch is find the industries which are close enough to each other to make a good profit, but also not too far away, and they're producing a good amount of coal. And the best way to do this, of course, is to go to the industry directory, and you can sort by the production. Lindley coal mine, of course, is the most productive right now because we're servicing it, and generally coal mines that are serviced will increase their productivity. Another one, of course, is Slendingham coal mine, which is actually serviced by Broodingville Transport as well, with an electric train and a very short route, which was cheap to build, servicing a power station. And making significant profit. We'll go back to our train line now, down here at south of Broodingville. And there you see, within about a year we have paid back £90,000. One more year beyond this, with our current trains making the money that they are, we should be able to pay the loan off in its entirety, and then we'll be making pure money and not have to worry about paying any interest on the loan. There is one more that I've discovered here which could make a little money as well. Is a coal mine here which is a mediocre producer at the moment, but could easily become a much better producer. So this is a little bit of a gamble. You have to be willing to take it sometimes. You see, it's only producing 63 tons of coal, which is why I'm making this a smaller train compared to our bigger ones. And for this one we are going to do a steam train because they're rather cheap to build. Although not cheap enough, it seems. I think we'll go with the little saddle tank for this one. You see, we've gone into the negative now. There's nothing to worry about. It happens from time to time. That's one too many. We want the brake van now. Down here. Which is the most expensive thing, of course, so and there we go. We now have 4 trains which will make us money in order to pay the initial loan of £100,000 off over the next year. Head back to our main money maker again over here. Productivity is remaining about the same at 162, which is okay. Now this is the best way to align your trains, is so that they don't end up waiting for one another at the signal. As this train goes past, this one already has a clear path and doesn't have to stop. trains lose money quickest when they're waiting at signals for other trains to get out of the way. As is signified, of course, by the fact that sometimes you do have to build around obstacles, such as houses. In another episode, I will be quadruple tracking this main line, and so it will reduce the amount of bottlenecks caused by goods trains and by stopping services. Here, of course, using a waypoint, the diesel multiple unit goes into the platform, while the fast train goes in through this track. So back over at the smaller coal train that we just built. The train is loading up slowly. So there it goes, and making its first delivery. A meagre income, but still valid. Now some of you are probably asking, why do I not build a branch from this power station over to this coal mine? Because it would not make as much money as these trains would, and it would actually compete with my other company here, which is providing coal, and a very long coal train at that. It's 5 squares long, which makes a lot of money right now. I'm not one to compete with my own company. In fact, I'm not one to really compete with anyone's company. I'm more one to go with my own initiative, go with my own supply, and let them have their own supply as well. That way, we all benefit. If I really wanted to, I could take out the full loan and build a full network, taking goods from this factory over to the bigger cities, such as Abertborough, Chuntfield, or Erdington over here. But I feel that's something best suited to my other railway here, Broodingville Transport, since they already have an established network. So this one's about to go off again. Here it goes. With coal trains, or with supply trains in general, I don't like putting uphill grades when they're fully loaded. In this case, however, I didn't want to incur the additional expenses of lowering the land in order to avoid that, so it'll have to stay. But luckily it's only 1 square, so it doesn't really affect the profit too much. There's another £2,000 coming out of this train here. There you see. So long as the trains are making a profit, that's all you really need to be concerned about. The more profit you can make, the better, obviously, but when you're in the humble beginnings, it's a good idea not to focus on making too much money at once. Try and focus on making money to start and building your company up from the ground up, basically. While this network here may seem impressive, my company actually went into quite a lot of debt in order to build it quite quickly. Unfortunately, of course, I can't show that because I don't have the save game from when this map, before I started building on this map. I started this whole series from the first save game that I had. Nearly a full 9 years after building this network. But what I failed to mention was that my first line to make money was actually this one. The line from Linley down to this power station at Broodingville. Once it started making money, I built another train to serve the power station at Broodingville, while building a single track over to the power station here at Abertborough. And then building this track over to this coal mine. In doing so, my company began to make a lot of money very quickly. So much so that I was then able to put passenger trains in on the route. And as you can see, this coal mine is making enough coal, it's producing enough coal to service the entire 3 trains that regularly service it. So, we have paid off half of our initial loan. All we need to do now is pay off the remaining £50,000. Now, of course, here's an interesting race. Which train will get to its destination first? The diesel grain train or the steam-powered coal train? The diesel, of course, has an unfair advantage in that its top speed is 55 miles an hour, and this one's top speed is 35 miles per hour. So the diesel win. But both trains produce about the same amount of income, £3,000 and about £2,250. And now we have just £20,000 left to pay on the loan, which will be 2 more lots of this coal train. This next one is almost fully loaded as well. There we are. There's also another thing which I mentioned earlier with going uphill with fully loaded trains. This route is built in a specific way that when it's fully loaded it always travels downhill. It only travels uphill when it is empty, and therefore makes money faster than it would if it had to go uphill. Just £10,000 left. Now you'll see that the train has entered the red here for profit, and that's because we've just crossed into the new year, 1962. So don't panic if you see this happen. This will soon change once your train reaches its destination and makes money. In this case, we'll see £2,000 profit almost once the train fully unloads. There we are. So you'll see last year the train made £3,318 in profit. These two trains made £38,000, almost £39,000 each in profit, which is quite remarkable. One more train load of the coal and we have completely paid off our loan and subsequently completed this episode. And that's it, the loan is completely paid off. So now all the profit that we make will go towards our train running costs and towards expanding our transportation empire. So thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and there will be more soon.